Welcome, welcome. We are back again here at Workhorse Wrestling Network for another episode of Under the Radar, episode number 2. We are sticking to the regular format, and I'm going to go ahead and talk about MLW much faster this week than I did last week. It's probably going to be too fast this week, so bear with us again. This one will be like 30 seconds because I went way over last time, but no. So let's see. This week on MLW, it basically started with it opened with showing what happened last week at the end of the show when everyone was laid out and Caesar Durant ran out. And then we found out that he was supposed to be meeting with Court Bauer later in the evening. And then it went into its first match, the Samoan SWAT team. It was actually Juicy Finau and Lance Anawahi. They wrestled some guys whose names I can't remember. They handled their business. They won. And then the three of them, Jacob Fatu was at ringside, had a quick little promo. Willie Mack is apparently joined MLW, and he was at the commentary booth for this match. And so he came over and said, "What's up?" to Jacob Fatu, and the two of them decided that they are going to have a match. So we'll see that at the next big event, which I believe is January 7th. I'm drawing a blank on the name right now. And then we had a EJ and Duca squash match. Not much to talk about there. And then the main event, which was Shun Skywalker versus Myron Reed for the MLW Middleweight Championship. Very good match. Both guys are really good wrestlers. Shun Skywalker got the upset. I was kind of surprised that Myron Reed lost. I'm assuming that he's just joined the Boombaye Fight Club, and Alex Kane was at ringside and didn't help him and seemed disappointed that Myron Reed didn't win. I don't know if that's a long-standing thing or if Myron Reed's going to try to find his way out of it. Davey Richards was in Shun Skywalker's corner, and Davey Richards had spoken to Myron Reed on a couple previous episodes about him taking him under his wing, and instead Myron Reed chose to side with the Boombaye Fight Club. So Davey Richards was in Skywalker's corner, and after the match, Reed was looking at Davey Richards, and Davey was looking at him like maybe Myron was thinking that he had made the wrong decision by joining Boombaye Fight Club. So that was basically it this week for MLW. Not other than Myron Reed and Shun Skywalker, not a great episode. They teased this stuff with Caesar Durant. I hope they do more. I kind of want to know, obviously, what's going on with the cards and the people being beat up, but they didn't really talk about that at all this week. He did meet with Court Bauer, but all you saw was him running out of the office with Court yelling at him. So that's my review of this week's Fusion 158 in what looks to be about 3.5 minutes. So, yeah, hopefully that's a little bit better than last week. And yeah, we can switch and talk about, what do you want to talk about? AEW Dark
Yes.
Elevation? Dark or
Let's
Elevation?
Let's talk about Dark Elevation first, and then Dark, because chronological order. Dark Elevation continues to be really, really good. Did you have like a favorite one that you want to talk about? Because I have like 2.
Yeah, I had 2, but I'm trying to open give me just 1 second here. For some reason, I guess my document where I wrote it down at disappeared on me. I guess I accidentally shut it down.
While he's doing that,
yeah,
let's talk about the fact
I have a feeling it's probably this. We probably have the same matches.
Okay, so Kiera Hogan has been with the baddies, wasn't really doing too much. The match that she had on Dark Elevation kind of shows what she can do, which I love. But I think that in order for her to do something and make the progress that we want to see, but when she signed to AEW, she was like the hottest free agent for the women, and signing AEW doesn't really do too much. I think having her maybe work with Diamante, because if you know, you know, that might help, or just utilizing those people a little bit more. I love the fact that she just like is Kiera Hogan, and I don't like I have issues with her sometimes, but I like her overall. That was one of my matches. The like, do you have any thoughts on that one? Or
I mean, I thought the Kiera Hogan match was okay. I honestly, I'm not sure I saw what you saw. I didn't think that I thought that they gave her a whole lot of room to stand out. Um,
Mhm.
but I mean, it's okay. I mean, I like her. I think she definitely has talent. I mean, she kind of, and I don't want to say this in the wrong way because this sounds bad, but I feel like she's kind of a wish version of like a Sasha Banks or a Naomi, where like she kind of has that same look and she's kind of good, but she's not quite there yet. Like I mean, I don't want to be rude, and I don't, that comes off rude or insulting, and I don't want to be that, but I don't know. I mean, I do like her. I mean, I'm interested to see if they give her more of a push, and if she can she actually does something. I do like her away from the baddies. I like her better as a face than a heel.
So let me help you with that. Let me help you with that a little bit. So Kiera Hogan was actually doing the her and Sasha Banks had beef because she was doing this for a few years before Sasha, like the
Oh,
hair and
okay,
everything. She did that to stand apart from Sasha,
okay,
and then Sasha gets the blue hair, and it's just like,
okay,
girl, I do my own thing.
sure,
But I think in Impact, she was very close to fully unleashing her full talent. And I think that AEW really needs to overhaul the women
yeah,
in order for a lot of these talents to shine,
I agree,
unfortunately.
I agree.
Um, what was one of yours?
I had Kip Sabian and Alex Reynolds,
Yo.
which I thought was probably the best match on the show. Um,
Mm,
Other than, I mean, I
mm.
thought Takeshita. I mean, I had Takeshita and Aaron Solo as the second best match, or the two best matches. Those are the two best matches I thought on Dark Elevation this weekend.
I I forget how good Alex Reynolds is
Right?
sometimes because he's like the goofball, like him and John Silver are the goofballs of the Dark Order.
And
But
even he's even less popular than John Silver. So he's like the least popular in the whole group.
Evil Uno, I think if they had kept the faction as Evil Uno, Stu Grayson, Alex Reynolds, John Silver, and that was your core, that would have worked really well.
Yeah.
I think I think this match was amazing to see what Kip can do as well as what Alex can do. And I personally am looking forward in 2023 to seeing Alex Reynolds and John Silver both wrestle singles matches a little bit more. Even if it is just on Dark or Dark Elevation, I think those are the type of shows that would benefit from having their personalities up there,
Yeah.
as well as their talents.
Yeah, I mean, both guys are really talented. I think Kip Sabian's got a little bit more personality. I think he's a little bit
Mm-hmm.
better on the microphone right now than Alex Reynolds. I think that's probably Alex Reynolds' only real issue is that he's a little bland. I'm not a huge fan necessarily of Kip Sabian's personality, but at least he has some. You know what I mean? And some flair. He stands out a little bit. I'm kind of interested. They're both really good wrestlers. They're both really good workers. I thought the match was really good. I, you know, AEW Dark Elevation and Dark needs matches like this, but every time they have
Mm-hmm.
them, I think to myself, why is this not on Rampage or Dynamite? So, I mean, because they're good matches and they should be seen by more people. But at the same time, I'm happy when they put good matches on these shows because I do get tired of just seeing squashes sometimes on these
Very
shows.
true.
So I'm
Very, very.
happy. I'm interested to see what both of these guys do in 2023. Hopefully, they both get a push.
I will
Kip was
also
definitely
say
getting a
that
push before he got injured. I mean,
he was, and then that stuff with Jimmy Havoc happened, and
yeah,
then the injuries.
yep,
But I will say, because I watch Being the Elite, I do get to see Alex's personality a little bit more. So
okay,
that's why I get him a little bit more. Another favorite of mine, of course, Takeshita is amazing and wonderful, and we could spend hours talking about him. Lee Moriarty, much the same. He has made leaps and bounds, but I really, really, really like seeing Top Flight, and I think that's because I've been deprived of seeing Top Flight. I think they are the future. I think they are going to be one of the best teams overall as long as they lose this bad luck they've been having.
yeah.
Um,
No, I
I
agree. I mean, it's good to see them. The only reason that I didn't have this on my list is just because I didn't think that the match itself was all that. It was kind of a
I
one-sided, you know what I mean?
anytime,
So,
anytime, because they both again they're like a lot of the tag teams in AEW. I can say this with confidence. They are good wrestlers as like a team
yeah,
and as singles.
yeah.
I'm really trying to think of one team in AEW that's better just as a team instead of individuals. And I'm not sure that I can honestly say, and being truthful, that there's one that is just should stick the tag and not have singles opportunities.
So the only comment I would have on that, the only one that I could think of off the top of my head, and they're not even together anymore, would be Jurassic Express. Now, Jungle
That
Boy
doesn't
doesn't need a
count.
tag team, but Luchasaurus might need the tag team.
But that
Not
doesn't
Jungle
count.
Boy.
That's why I had to say currently.
Yeah, currently. No, you're right. But you're right. Other than that, I don't think there's anybody that wrestles that should be just strictly tag team
And
worthy.
Luchasaurus just needs like more personality. That's what he
Yeah,
needs.
yeah.
All right. Who did you have, or what was your next one?
Say that again.
What was your next one? Like, what was your
For
next
are we still on Dark Elevation?
one?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I just had Takeshita and Solo as the. I thought that was a good match. I mean, we always know what we get with Takeshita and Aaron Solo. I mean, you know, I like Dark Elevation and I like Dark. Like I said last week, I think it feels like this is where the faction lives, and here we get another faction member in a main event match. So I mean, it is what it is. Um, you know, I liked it though. Takeshita looked really good, and Aaron Solo, I think, is a good wrestler.
Yeah.
Um, anytime we see Takeshita, I'm excited. So
Yeah.
for all intents and purposes, and I know that we all do a really, really good job about saying his name correctly and not making bad puns about the word shit being in his name or taking whatever. But if I was him personally, like I might have thought about maybe changing my name, maybe just to Kanosuke or something, as opposed to. I just every time I see the name, I chuckle to myself. I can't. I guess
Go
I'm
look
just
up his
immature.
mother. Go look up his mother, and that's the reason he doesn't.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Moving on to Dark.
Dark. This one, let's see. I thought this show was very uninspired. I actually have one one match that I wrote down for this show. The only match I wrote down for this show was Trent and Anthony Henry. And I thought, other than that, the rest of the show was pretty disappointing.
Uh,
I mean, we know what we get with Trent. I like Trent. Trent's always good. And Anthony Henry's been one of my favorites since he was in Evolve, and he doesn't seem to get to push anywhere, and he doesn't seem to stay anywhere, but I like him. He's a really good wrestler. I thought this match was really good, and by far the best match in the show. I was really disappointed with Dark this week. I thought Elevation was better this week than Dark.
it was the same as last week. I will say I liked Leon Ruffin or Leon Ruff.
Yeah.
The match between him and Brian Cage was your typical big guy versus little guy. However, Leon Ruff is so ridiculously talented. It worked.
Yeah.
Cage also made it work. The promo, Prince Nana, it all just worked. For me, because I love Dalton Castle and the boys, I liked the tag match. They just bring a smile to your face. And there's the fact that, we're secretly gonna be like we're gonna be trash, but we're gonna do it stylishly.
Yeah.
Like I love that. So it worked for me. But yeah.
No, I mean I love Dalton Castle, and I got nothing bad to say about him. I hope they push him hard. I assume that he'll be a mainstay in Ring of Honor, and so I'm all for that, and I wouldn't mind seeing him get more push on the regular AEW roster. I think he's amazing. Again, this was one of those where I didn't think the match itself was all that great. Dalton Castle was great, but the match itself I thought just wasn't all that great, just because their opponents were so.
For the last two darks, I've had to find like folks, not matches, because the matches have not been particularly amazing.
It's really weird. Tony Khan, it's really hit or miss. Sometimes it's really good, like the whole episode will be really good, and sometimes the whole episode will just be really bad.
And which is really weird because, with editing, you can make anything happen,
Yeah, For sure.
Yeah. All right, so we're just gonna scoot on past that because no one should be subjected to that. Let's talk about Impact.
Let's talk about Impact.
Hey, we didn't have Joe Henry, so I was sad.
Yes, we had Joe Henry.
No,
I love Joe Henry.
no Joe Henry.
I believe
Okay,
in Joe
I don't care what
Henry.
nobody says, and I know you're a hater. Be a hater. The new Violent by Design.
Yeah.
I I can see that working with so many factions. I
I
think
don't.
if it's booked correctly, this could be their dominant heel faction until maybe June.
I mean, we'll have to see. I mean, Diener's already doing a better job than I thought he was going to do. I was very impressed with him last night. He doesn't seem like the goofy guy he kind of was before. He seemed to have turned a corner, and so I like that. And the reality is that for me, Eric Young was Violent by Design, but just because he's gone, if Diener steps up or they do it right, it could still work. I mean, I don't necessarily like the name The Design or whatever it is now, by design, the design. Maybe come up with something different, totally different. But yeah, I mean, if they push them right and they book them right, I mean, I don't necessarily have a problem with it. I mean, it'd be interesting to see if Eric Young actually goes back to WWE or what ends up happening with Eric Young. Maybe he'll be resurrected again and in a couple weeks and come back and have a war with them. Who knows? I don't know. But I do like the way the Impact kills off their characters instead of just firing them or releasing them, or it's like they do that on a regular basis. So, and I like the whole thing with Diener and Eric Young and the whole. So I mean, I'm here for it. I mean, I'm here for it. I'm willing to give it I'm willing to give it time to see how it plays out.
Impact is very much a soap opera.
No
So,
doubt.
um, I will give a shout out to my favorite match because Impact did not have a lot of matches. One match was the entirety of its like second hour,
Right.
and we can talk about that in a moment. I love Motor City Machine Guns versus Heath and Rhino. I do hate that the major players interrupted that. However, I understand it. I think those three will be a great triad. Um, of tag team wrestling. You have your singles, you have your tags, you have a plethora of matches. If it is booked correctly, it will not lose steam. Um, I anything that you want to say on that one?
Yeah, I mean, I hate the major players, and I really hate Keith. I like Rhino, but I don't. Rhino being with Keith, I can't stand him. So them as a tag team, the only team I'm interested in this whole thing is the Motor City Machine Guns, and as long as they end up champions, that's all I care about. So I mean, I want them to destroy both teams, and I want Heath to go away forever. Like Rhino's okay, he could stay as long as he's singles or doing something else, but Heath needs to go away forever. And Matt Cardona and Brian Meyer need to go away forever. Just disappear. I can't stand either of them. I cannot stand
Just a
either.
hater. Just such a hater. Okay, besides this hater, we have Ty Valkyrie with the Death Dolls and Savannah Evans with Tasha Steeles. This was a great women's match. It got time. The story has been really well developed. I will be quite honest, I did not have Savannah Evans winning. I really thought Taya was going to win. However, I liked Savannah winning. I like how they're building this story. Um, this feud is going to be good. But
Yeah,
I do think Tasha Steeles and Savannah Evans are going to need a third soon. So I'm wondering who that will be and if it's someone already there or someone they're resigning or someone coming in. And I don't know.
yeah. No, I mean, I'm here for this, and I'm always here for doing something that's unpredictable. Like you said, I assumed when this match was announced that Taya was going to get the win. Obviously, Savannah winning was a surprise, so I was in for that. A week ago, if you'd asked me, I would have said that there's definitely an expiration date on Tasha Steeles and Savannah Evans, and I still think there might be. But I don't know. I mean, it seems like they've kind of resolved what little issue they might have had. So, yeah, I mean, I'm here for. I like Savannah Evans. I like them. I like all the members in this feud. So I'm here for it. I think it's good. It's really solid women's wrestling. So nothing to complain about or no.
True. Um, let's see. The third match was Sammy Callahan versus Big Con. Big Con is Connor from the Ascension. I do appreciate the fact they are not stifling Connor because he really was good in FCW. He did not get the credit he deserved. Neither member of the Ascension got the credit they deserved when they moved to the main roster. Um, Good match. Sammy really needs to get friends and stop feuding with all these factions by his damn self. Damn, man.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I like Sammy Callahan. He's been around for a long time. He is what he is. You either like him or you don't. But
Mhm.
yeah, he definitely needs some friends. Um, I'm here for. I like Khan. I like that he's getting the push. And I thought this was a solid match.
Man. And of course, the entirety of the last hour. And it
Before
never got
before
old.
we before we talk about that, you have to address the Delirious promo, which was amazing. I'm all here for that. I'm happy he's back.
I am
But
new to Delirious. I don't know much about him. I have to do my research. I
yeah,
wasn't sure if he was like speaking Spanish or Russian or because at one point it sounded like Spanish, at another point it sounded like Russian.
yeah, and I'm not totally sure what language it was. It may have been a mixture of languages, even. I'm not totally sure, but he's great
I
and
just wanted to make sure
hysterical.
I wasn't the only one who peeped that
No,
because
no, 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 no. I kept thinking to myself, is that Spanish or is that something else? At times it sounded like Spanish, at times it sounded like something else, so I'm not totally sure. There was a couple times I thought maybe it was gibberish, but then it had the little subtitles on the bottom, so someone was translating it, so it had to be at least legitimate language.
Spanish has like a nice soft look to it, and
Yeah, yeah.
German is oh.
But yes, no, I mean the last hour was what I think is definitely Impact's match of the year, in my
I'm trying to think
opinion.
of a match that I've seen that can honestly beat it. It went an hour,
Yeah,
and I never got tired of seeing it. It was it was Josh Alexander versus Speedball Mike Bailey. Those two names, in and of itself, if you are a wrestling fan, especially indie fan or Impact fan, you know those are going to be great matches.
yeah,
And it was a banging ass great match. I loved it. I lived for it. It was amazing. I honestly thought Mike Bailey had it. Just because of how long it was going, I was like, oh yeah, they are so going to give this to Mike Bailey. He is going to win. It is going to be amazing. He's going to do great things. Josh Alexander's going to win it back in like a month or two or something like that. And
yeah. There was no time to breathe during that match. If you blinked, you missed something. Both guys are excellent. Top of their fields for sure. And yeah, I mean this match, it was everything I wanted it to be. When Josh Alexander was in the ring and he was talking to Bully Ray, and then Mike Bailey came out, I thought, oh shit, here we go. I'm in for this. I mean, and after this match, I'm convinced that I should have went with Mike Bailey for Breakout Star of the Year instead of Austin Theory. I think Mike Bailey, when it really boils down to it, has probably been the Breakout Star of the Year. I mean,
I
he
don't
wasn't.
think I don't think 2022 has touched what Mike Bailey can do. I think indie folks are still talking about Mike Bailey in
Yeah,
2022. I
yeah,
think 2023 is when the major companies start speaking on him more. That
yeah.
name,
It'll be interesting to see what happens. I hope he doesn't end up in WWE, where I'm afraid they might stifle his move set and his creativity. Hopefully, he ends up somewhere, AEW, where he can actually, be given some more freedom. Although the booking there isn't great at the moment either, and there's too many people there, so I don't want him to get lost in the shuffle. I don't know. I mean, it's tough. Like, I like him on Impact because I think he's kind of a big fish in a smaller pond. Um, and if he had some actual, like, if he could really talk, he'd be a way bigger fish. But that's his biggest issue at the moment. If you just let Veda Scott talk for him, it'd be perfect. I mean,
I think
so
he goes to ROH, but he stays in Impact. I think he goes between the two.
yeah,
And I think that in and of itself will help him in 2023 become a breakout star. But I think him being on ROH will be something that draws people's attention to ROH. Like put the Briscoes, give me a Yuta Garcia Hook feud on ROH. Get me all the younger talent and some older ROH talent on ROH. I
Yeah.
think that if you want to make a brand in this day and age, unfortunately, you are going to have to put them on put your younger guys on a show that maybe you don't think will get that much attention and get that attention. We've seen Hook is a draw for the women. Briscoes, everybody knows their name. They are in the wrestling groups when everyone hates on AEW and WWE. We can all agree on the Briscoes are phenomenal. Um, and honestly, Steve on Mike Bailey, like, yeah, yeah. I
Yeah, I mean, at
don't want to
first
spend
when that
all the time on this topic because it just was so. If you just have to watch one match this week,
that's it.
y'all
It
find
was the best
find
match of the week. I mean, we'll see what
watch
happens
the
at the
whole
pay-per-views tomorrow, but so far it's the
watch
best
the
match of
whole
the week.
hour. Watch that whole hour.
Yeah.
Watch that.
I mean, I was when it first started, I thought Josh is winning, and then about three-quarters of the way through, I thought, wow, Mike could actually win. And then when it was over and Josh won, I thought, yeah, that makes sense because they're still in the story with Bully Ray. So I understand why they did that. But yeah, there was a period of time there where I thought, wow, Mike Bailey's going to actually win this. And after Savannah Evans had to win earlier in the evening, I thought, oh well, here we're going to see something else unpredictable. But
I
we'll see what happens after the Bully Ray feud.
just go watch it. If you don't already watch Impact, you can buy it for like $1 a month on YouTube. Spend money. It's an investment. It's good. Watch it on
It's
Dish.
definitely worth it for sure. It's a must see
Watch it on
match.
Access TV on Dish Network. Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, there may be a candidate for match of the year. I mean, depending on how many candidates there are. I mean, it's
I'm
definitely up
really
there for
trying to
sure.
figure out what
I think it's no doubt Impact's match of the year. I can't think of a better Impact match.
I'm trying to think of like better mainstream matches that could really beat it.
Yeah.
Um, it is if you're an old school wrestling fan and you remember those epics of like hour long like Iron Man matches, it's very reminiscent of that. And it's not too much high flying. It's not too many. It's not too many rest holds. I'm trying to think of if they really used any rest holds.
No, in fact, that was for me one of the big differences is that like when you used to watch those 60-minute Ric Flair Steamboat matches or those old matches, like they had a lot of rest holds. These dudes took no time off. I mean,
They
they
didn't.
would hold an armbar for 10 minutes in the middle of the ring. You know what I'm saying? These guys didn't do that. These guys took no time off. I mean, they didn't breathe. They didn't blink an eye. Now this was nonstop from beginning to end.
Just go watch it, y'all. Go watch it. Um, anything else for the week in wrestling shows for MLW, Dark Elevation, or Impact before we wrap it on up with BT?
Nope, I do not.
Oh,
Just go see Josh Alexander and Mike Bailey.
please make that a thing. Okay, so we're gonna talk about BTE, also known as being the Elite. This episode, I'm going to try to do it in 30 seconds or less. This episode was another we're traveling type situation. Of course, we have the Young Bucks talking about, we don't want to go down 3-0 to these folks. So what do we do? Or is it 0-3? Whichever way you want to phrase it, they were down to nothing at one point. So they were strategizing. They won. Everybody's happy. We're all good. The thing I want to highlight and want to draw attention to, some people have talked about it a little bit. However, not a lot of people have. If you go and watch BTE when the House of Black is talking to Brandon Cutler, they make it very obvious that if the Young Bucks win those trios belts, they are coming for them. If they don't win those trios belts, they're coming for them. So if I was Brandon Cutler, I'd peace out and be just like I was when I was supposed to be filming for BTE and there was a fight. I'm out. I'll be over there. I ain't messing with them folks. I ain't got to beef with them. We straight. BTE was once again a really good episode. It was 325. It's called Legacy Game. I, of course, love the little part with House of Black. But I also really enjoyed the NBA on BTE, which was Daniel Garcia, Isaiah Cassie, and Mark Quinn. I love to see like fans of actual people they're working with, as well as fans of wrestling, get together and talk. New Yorkers shit talking is always funny to me, um, and just how they were going back and forth on who's gonna win, how that's gonna work. I loved it. I want to see more of that. I want to see more of the young talent like interacting and doing stuff and just having fun. Um, I think this week's BTE was kind of a pickup from the past 2 weeks, because folks were getting back into the swing of Young Bucks on deck. Got a lot of people still upset and angry about that, but whatever. Nick Nabbin's portion you can skip as per usual. Overall, for BTE standards, I give it a B, solid B episode. You can go and watch it if you would like to. It is on their YouTube. So yeah, BTE in about a minute and some change, or 2 minutes and some change, maybe three.
There
Yeah.
you go. So that
Oh,
wraps it up. You want to take us on out? We did this in 31 minutes today.
yeah, we're good like that. All right, so this is going to be pre-recorded, so please make sure that you drop your comments. Tell us what you like, what you don't like. If you disagree with us, let us know. Share us out on Twitter, on Facebook, on YouTube. We're small for right now, but we are going to grow, and you want to be on the ground floor of that growth. We are going to be live tonight, which is Friday, because we are recording this on Friday. Surprise! At 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific time. We will be live for ROH tomorrow.
ROH, yes, for sure.
We're gonna have a live watch along for ROH.
Probably not deadline.
Possibly deadline, depending on how big Mariah Carey acts with her tree. And we'll go from there. Please feel free to jump in. Come talk to us. We are friendly for the most part on our social media. Come to our lives. We are live, of course, for our for our Rampage watch along, which is Fridays at 10 p.m. Eastern. And we are also live for the Cookout Podcast at 10:30 p.m. Eastern on Tuesdays. So come in, interact with us. We're amazing. We're awesome. Talk to us about all your takes, not just wrestling. We tend to go off a little bit on the podcast for the Cookout. So, yeah. Other than that, we will see you shortly. Stay safe, stay warm, stay amazing, and we'll talk to you all soon.
Happy holidays.